Hi there, Glenn Stanford again. And if you watched a previous video I made of a collie called Sam that had nervous aggression, you might be interested in this short little video I'm going to make now. I've just come back from the UK to France. I'm in France. I've been here literally 10 minutes. And the dog that I've brought back with me from England is in the back of my van right now. Another kind of nervous aggressive killer canine that wants to cause a little bit of damage, but this one's not too scary because it's only a little Yorkshire Terrier. So what I've done, as I always say, get the long line out and start exercising the dog, let it have a bit of natural environment to sniff and run around in. And even though it's a really grey day and it's a bit sort of wet and damp, it's got to be done. So even though I'm looking a bit tired because I've just been driving sort of all day and all night, here we are on the first sort of 5 minutes of the rehabilitation. The dog is going to end up staying with me, so it's important that I integrate it with my other two little dogs that live inside the house. The other dog's down the garden, that's not a problem, but the two little dogs have got to get on well with the new one. So they're going to be arriving in about 20 minutes. I'm going to run this dog first and give it a bit of exercise, and really just start at the beginning, which is, as I've said before, let the dog have some space, let the dog sniff around and be a dog. Eventually it'll kind of come to accept me a bit easier, and then we can start introducing it to the other dogs, and eventually get it back into my place where I can see how it gets on in the garden and then in the house. Which is an important point to make, actually, if you didn't know already, that I always introduce dogs in a neutral territory, never in my house, never in the back garden, nowhere where my dogs are familiar, because I want it to be quite a kind of off-site, neutral meet and greet. So yeah, that's about it really. It's quite another little exciting episode for me, because it's a new dog, and you know, I've got a good feeling that within a week things have settled down. It's going to be a bit barky, yappy, and kind of annoying to begin with, but we'll get there in the end. So what I'll do now is I'm going to literally have you with me as I start the process, which means go and get the dog out the van, and let it have a little run around. It's as simple as that. So follow me to the back of the van, and you can see my happy chappy, who's probably going to be barking and snarling because he doesn't like strangers. But we'll get there. Just clip him on the long line and let him have a run. So let's go and have a look. So here we are, as usual, open space, loads of fields, and pretty isolated. I don't really want to bump into anyone else and any other dogs, because I don't want it more complicated than necessary. Really, all I want to do is just let the dog be a dog and hopefully kind of get to know each other a little bit. Anyway, here's the exciting bit. Let's introduce ourselves to our new tenant in France. Here he is. Not a happy chappy. No, not as bad as I thought though. Just a little growl, nothing too bad. He's obviously hesitant. He's a bit worried, a bit shaky. Oh, there he goes. There we go. So what I'm going to do is get the long line out. Got all my stuff in the back of the van that I've brought over from the UK, so it's a little bit chaotic, but first thing is clip the long line on. Bear with me. There we go, that's done, job done. Right, and try and undo this without the killer Yorkie taking my finger off. Hang on to the lead, I don't want him to just dart out the door. And there he goes, bump. Pretty darty really. Okay, he's got a little woolly pulley on that his mum put on him, keep him warm, which is not a bad idea because he was in the van overnight while I was on the ferry, but so that kept him kind of warm. But there we go, that's as complicated as it is. Let's let him have a little bit of line now. Let him take him out for a little jog. Now, he's quite a confident little fella when he's out and about. Look, he just doesn't like meeting new people and being the focus of attention like a lot of nervous dogs. They don't really want to be under the microscope, they just want to be left alone. But he's going to have to get used to it because he's going to be living with me and he's going to be living with the other dogs. I think he needed that after a night in the van. He's busting. Come on. And as you saw with Sam, you know, I keep it simple. I let him have a bit of space, a bit of running around, and just simple commands. As you can see, I've got the long line here. I'm just going to untangle that. Try to anyway. There we go. And he can't go far because I've got like sort of 40, 50 feet of. Let's see if he comes when I call him. Come on, let's go. Yeah, see, he's all right, really. Now, you wouldn't believe this, right? Listen to what I'm about to say. This dog is only a year old. This dog was causing chaos with the previous owners, barking, yapping, kind of aggressive, really, because it felt under pressure. And they tried to put it in a rescue, and none of the rescues would take it. None of the rescues would have had room. And they asked a rather well-known rescue in London whether they could take the dog, and they said no, we haven't got any room. And if you run out of options and you run out of rescues, and if no one can take it, then unfortunately the dog will have to be put to sleep. Now, can you believe that? This is a 1-year-old dog that's got a few little funny habits because the owners weren't on top of the problem right from the beginning. And their answer to it is, if you run out of options, you've got to get the dog put down. And I don't believe that at all. That's ridiculous. Yeah, the dog's a little bit kind of shaky and nervy, but it's just turned up in a new country with a new person it doesn't know. So it's going to be a little bit kind of shaky and nervous. Come on, let's go. See, to me, that's a good start straight away. The fact that the dog is just being a dog. Come on, let's go. He's dragging that great big long line behind it, which is making it a bit tougher. Come on, let's go. So there you go. Now, he came to me with the name Ted. Not sure if he's going to keep that name yet. I haven't made my mind up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and keep you updated with Ted's progress, see how he gets on. When the other dogs turn up, I'll resume filming, and hopefully you can see the introduction process. Now, it'll be interesting to see how he fares with other dogs. I don't believe he's got a problem with other dogs, mainly people. And it'd be interesting to see how my dogs kind of evaluate him, whether they are worried about his nervousness or whether they just ignore him. So my lovely assistant Samantha will be over with my 2 dogs shortly, and we'll see how things go. So I'll see you soon. Right, so here we are, we're back again, and over there you can just see a little dot in the distance. That's my assistant Sam with the 2 other dogs. Just going to see what little lively fella does with this. So I'm just going to let him drag me, and he's not shy about that. See what he makes of them. Come on, over this way. Look, he's livened up now. He's like, there's strangers, get rid of them. Yeah, he's right. Bring the other 2 over. We'll just walk them all together down the pathway. Look at you, you're having a right little rant and a rave, aren't you? Look, excitement, aggression. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Wow. Come on, wait. That's it. Hey, calm down. Calm down. Hey. See, what's happening there is the excitement and the adrenaline is going a little bit too high, where I'm trying to intervene, trying to interrupt it, and it's getting a bit too high. So I'm just like making a bit of space. Hey, making a bit of space between us, getting him to calm down a little bit. And it's always easy if you do it on the move. All this kind of eye to eye standing still just intensifies it a bit. So I'm just going to ask Sam, you carry on walking, Sam, keep on moving, and we'll walk behind you. Come on, you. So you can see, look, I've got a distance of about a good 25 yards or something like that. Little in here is busting to let his self be known. That's it, keep moving. He's like perked up now, his ears are up, he's like kind of on full alert. So what I do now is I'm just, while he's in this kind of jogging along mode with a little bit of excitement, I'm going to just check him a bit. Hey, 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 hey. I just want to see where his eyes go. Hey. Right, there they go. That's the look I want. Let's try it once more. Hey, hey, up here, up here. Come on, up here. There we go. Just that little look, just that acknowledgement. Come on, let's go. Right, so we're going to keep this going for 5 or 10 minutes. Just keeping the dogs apart and following. Can you go down the pathway, please? Thanks. And I'll be back in a minute when we get to the sort of next stage, when they're a bit closer and things are a little bit more intimate. Right, here we are, and I've got Pug there and I've got the Yorkie there. I'm holding them both. Now this could be a bit hard work because I've got to try and hold the camera and the dogs. Come on. And obviously the Yorkie's a little bit kind of put out by being this close to a dog. I didn't think the Yorkie had problem with dogs really, but anyway, look, you can see they're kind of close. There we go, there we go. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give the camera to Sam and hope you can hear me while you see what I'm doing. Right, so what I've done now, I've got the two dogs together. The Pug is kind of, hey, it's you, isn't it? I'm talking about you. The Pug is kind of not the most sensitive of dogs, so she won't really pay any attention to the Yorkie's little outbursts and flaky moments. So I'm going to ask Sam to follow me. I hope you can hear me. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to put kind of nose to bum. So Macy, come here. Yeah, I want the Yorkie to smell the Pug and the Pug to smell the Yorkie, but no eye to eye stuff. Mace, let's go. Try it. Now, the Yorkie's kind of itching to get away by the look of it. Don't like being in a close proximity. Wait. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the Pug take the lead. Go on Pug. And let the Yorkie be right up the back. Come on, let's go. Come on. I really want the nose to kick in because the dog's being evasive at the moment. It's kind of like, I don't like it. Well, I'm confused. So now I'm going to do the swap over. Just swap my hands over. There we go. Come on, let's go. You go out in front now. And Pug can come in for a look. Come on. Right, let's do a little standstill, see what happens. Because this one's finding it rather bemusing and a bit confusing. Come on. There we go. Alright, so they're in closer proximity now. The Yorkie's hesitant. You can see how the Pug's just in four-wheel drive, doesn't really pay any attention. That's why I chose the Pug, because the Terrier's a bit more sensitive and the Terrier might react to the Yorkie being flaky. But the Pug just looks like a little Land Rover, just keeps going. They're jogging on together now. I think if the Pug turns around and gives the Yorkie some attention, there could be a little spat where the Yorkie can't cope. And as you probably remember from the film I've done with Sam, when you turn around to go back, the nervous dogs can't wait to get back, so the Yorkie will be right out in front, no doubt, and want to be getting back in the van. Now that's pretty good, look, they're side by side. Actually, I think the Pug's quite a nice stable influence on the Yorkie, because the Pug's just in one track mode. It just isn't interested in anything. So look, it doesn't even look at the Yorkie. You've got my Terrier up there darting about, kind of just being a Terrier. Right. Now you might notice I've got the dogs in front of me, but that's really just so I can observe everything that's going on and control what's going on. I'm not going to do the normal leader-follower bit where they're behind me, because this has got to be a controlled environment. Cool. Now what I'm going to do now is let the pug go. I mean, I might have to jump in and grab the lead if there's a bit of a spat, but I want the pug to be free. And the Yorkie's now, come on, let's go. The Yorkie's now kind of one of the gang, but I've got sort of 12-foot lead out in front of me now, so that the Yorkie's kind of dealing with it on his own. Right, here we are on the return trip now. Macy the terrier's doing her usual. The Yorkie's had a little growl and a moan because we're standing still, and that puts things a bit more intense, a bit more under the microscope. There we go. Hey. So address it, make sure you tell them. Don't like that. Pugs like, don't care, really don't care. So we're going to start heading back now. I want to see what happens when they're all loose. Now, I've still got the long line, and the other two dogs are still on their leads. I've still got the slip leads dragging behind, so I can kind of grab a dog if I have to. But I just want to see what happens when I kind of just let them get on with it now. You know, I won't let them get too far ahead or anything like that, but I've got a feeling the Yorkie's going to be keen to go back. Just start making the move. Come on in, let's go. There goes the Yorkie. Macy, this way. Now look, exactly what I was saying. Here's the dogs here, right under my feet. Got Sam with me there, and the Yorkie's taken the lead. He's now Mr. Brave, which isn't the case. It's just nervous energy, wanting to get back to the security of, well, the crate or the van or home or wherever. Just anything other than this challenge, because it's a bit too much to deal with. But this is not even day one, is it? It's just half-hour one. We haven't even done an hour, and I just want everyone to see kind of how things unfold right from the start. There's no point me telling you about it and you don't really get a chance to see what I do. So we're just going to carry on now, and hopefully by the time I get up to the van, the other two dogs are up with the Yorkie, and they'll be a bit more of a gang. Let's go. So I'll see you in a minute. Well, as I hoped, the dogs are more ganged up now, more kind of together. Yorkie's dealing with it, doing quite well. Mace has found a corn on the cob in a cob field, and what you got there then? Show me. Oh, you got a corn on the cob. Come on, Yorkie. Come on, pug. There you go. So they're kind of buddied up a little bit now. Now things are going to get a bit intense when we go back to my place, and obviously when we go through the front door, my two dogs know the rules and the Yorkie doesn't, so there could be a little bit of flying feathers, so to speak. Let's just see where the... Come on, terrier. Good girl. But all in all, pretty much as I was hoping, that the Yorkie would display a few funny little flaky ways, but it gets ironed out. And this, as I say, just day one. Give it another week of routine runs and walks and do's and don'ts, and everything should turn out fine. So we'll leave it here for today, and hopefully I'll come back and give you a highlighted version of what's going on soon. Right, we've arrived back at my house, and this is kind of the next test for the little Yorkie. I'm going to take him in now to meet the menagerie of animals that I've got here. Come on. Okay, in at the deep end. So here we are in my garden, as you can see. The ducks, the chickens, the Yorkie, who doesn't seem too bothered by it. I mean, he's doing okay. I think the chickens are a little bit worried about him, but I mean, Cockerel's a bit wary. Oh, he's had a little flare up there, just got to be careful. Yeah, he's alert, and it's all interesting to him, but it's nothing really to worry about. I think, you know, I just got to check him and keep on top of him. So Ted, up here. There you go. That's what we want. Every time he has a little challenge, he's got to remember that he's not alone. I'm going to correct him, I'm going to support him, I'm going to help him cope with anything he has problem with. You know, that's the whole point of the rehab, to take him through these little challenges. But anyway, I'm going to unclip him now off the long line and let him have a little run around, take him up the garden. He can meet the 2 other dogs up the top of the garden, and we'll see how he fares. So just give me a moment while I unclip him. Right, I'm back. Yorkie's now just on a slip lead. The chickens are sounding rather concerned because we have a new dog in the garden. But look, nothing bad happening. The chickens are like, I'm not sure about that. And now Yorkie, who's still got an undetermined name, is having a sniff around the front door, deciding, shall I go in? But I'm going to walk up the garden and call him, see what happens. Oh, I didn't have to. Looks like it doesn't go far. Again, it's that nervous trait where they kind of they keep a bit of distance because they feel unsafe, but at the same time they don't want to be left alone, so they want to follow. Right, we're walking up the garden now. Now he's going to get a shock in a minute when the 2 dogs in the run see him. Yep, he's like, oh, I don't know about that. Well, that's not too bad. They're not going mad at him, so obviously they think he's okay. One more guest to meet over here. That's Casper. Was called Casper because it's supposed to be a friendly goat, but it ain't friendly at all and will butt me no sooner as I walk near it. So, but the Yorkie's not got a problem with goats. Back to the chickens. All pretty good. So, now it's just a case of the ducks have got to get used to the dog. And I'm now going to take the dog into the entrance of my house and put it in the crate just for 10 minutes so my other 2 dogs can have their dinner or their lunch, and then I can maybe see how things settle down, you know, whether my dogs are bothered by it. So one thing at a time. Now I'm going to take the Yorkie inside and pop him in the crate just for 10 minutes, let things quieten down. So here we are in my kitchen. I've put a crate there just in the hallway, and there is Teddy, Eddie, Chalky, whatever his name's going to be. My dogs are just having their dinner, and I let them eat most of it before I let the Yorkshire Terrier in here. But yeah, everything seems quite passive really. I mean, no arguments as yet. My 2 dogs are not too fussed by its presence by the look of it, so not much to report, unfortunately. Well, from your point of view anyway. From my point of view, I'm glad there's nothing really to tell you. So there you go. Dogs now introduced indoors, and if anything happens or anything changes, I'll let you know.